Carl Johnson, A tier. To be honest, I haven't finished San Andreas yet, but so far Carl Johnson is really a good protagonist. I do like how you can develop him and make him stronger, more athletic, develop his skills like driving, shooting, stuff like that. So it makes you connect with him a lot more than at the beginning of the game, because to me at the beginning he kind of came across as a stereotypical gangster, not much of a personality to him. Although his story does start off interesting with his mum dying and trying to figure out what happened and grieving over that. But I think it's mainly the gameplay and playing through the game as Carl and starting to bond with him a lot more later on in the story, or as far to the point I've gotten so far, that really makes him a good protagonist. So I put him in A tier for now. Claude Speed, A tier. Now I know what you're thinking, Claude Speed doesn't say a lot or talk the talk that much, but to be honest, I think he's a pretty badass protagonist. I mean, he just doesn't really give a shit, does what he's got to do, has the whole storyline with Catalina and the whole drama going on there. Plus with the cameos that he has in San Andreas, just seeing him again is pretty cool. And I really like Claude Speed, so I'm giving him A. Franklin Clinton, I'm going to have to put him in D tier. Franklin's a tricky one, because he does start off in the same way as CJ, but the problem with Franklin is that you don't really bond with him that much. He really just comes across as kind of a whinge bag, just a crybaby a lot of the time. And to me anyway. And he really just sort of acts as an anchor to make Michael get back in the game, to kind of bring him back into the life of crime for his family, for the events that led up to the beginning of the story with him dragging down Madrazo's house. And that's really it. I don't really think Franklin brings much to the story apart from hanging out with Lamar, who I think is a really cool side character. He kind of just goes along for the ride and kind of just helps Michael here or there, gets a lot of money for it, gets a nice house up in the hills, but until the end of the game where it comes to him choosing between A, B or C, I don't really think he has much impact in the story as much as Michael does. And for that I'm going to put him in D tier. Johnny Clements, C tier. Now, The Lost and Damned wasn't the best DLC ever, but I thought it was decent and I really liked Johnny Clements. I thought that he brought a lot to that game. And just the backstory of being a biker going out doing jobs like drug deals and robberies and stuff like that, I just really like that idea. And I think with the whole Ashley storyline as well, and that love interest there, and kind of them tugging at each other with Ashley having her drug addictions and her problems, and Johnny always being the guy to go off and save her, it's hard for him to justify whether he should be with her or not. And I think that's kind of a cool thing in the story to have on the side of him doing all this dirty work for politicians and for his motorcycle club. The ending of the game was kind of underwhelming to me because I thought they were building up the final showdown between him and Billy Gray, the leader of the motorcycle club, after he thought that Johnny set him up. And Brian Jeremy was a cool side character, although he was kind of a kiss ass to Billy Gray. But overall, I thought he was a decent character. I think he is slightly better than Franklin, but that's just me. Luis Lopez, you gotta put him in S tier. The Baldur's Tony is by far the best DLC I've played for any game. It is straight up awesome. Literally every single mission in that game, as you progress through the story, just gets better and better and better. And Luis is just such a cool guy, man. I mean, you can't not like Luis. He's a no bullshit kind of guy. He helps out Gay Tony and, you know, make sure that he gets through his problems. Gay Tony kind of gave him that start off. And gave him the opportunity to be working in his nightclub kind of as a managerial role or assistant kind of role. And I think they're a good duo together. The callbacks to the GTA 4 story in this game as well, I thought were done a lot better than The Lost and Damned, and I really enjoyed them a lot more. With the diamond exchange and stuff like that, bumping into Nico, seeing Roman and Brucey in the nightclub, stuff like that. Also with bringing back in Bulgarin and kind of having Luis take care of him while he was tormenting Nico throughout the main campaign, I thought was really cool as well, so I gotta give him S tier, man. To be quite honest, I think Michael should have been the only character in GTA 5. I know that might be unpopular for some people to hear, but honestly, I think the story would have been better without Franklin and Trevor being playable characters. I know gameplay wise it's fun to have three characters to play as that are all different in personality and have different traits and abilities, stuff like that is cool, but in terms of the story, if it focused purely on Michael and his family issues and his past coming back to haunt him with Trevor and having this protege that he's trying to bring up, this young prodigy with Franklin, and I'm really focusing on that a lot more in Michael's head, I think it would have been better for that. And as well, I think Michael just has a lot more to bring to the story. I do like how He fakes his own death. He comes to this paradise in Los Santos, living the dream, living the life until an accident happens. His wife hates him, his kids hates him, and he works his way through getting jobs done for the government, kind of being a guinea pig for them, and winning back his family eventually, stuff like that. I think that would have made the story a lot more coherent, and I would have liked that a lot more, but beggars can't be choosers, and I do like Michael. I think he's the best protagonist in GTA 5. I think he has the most spring to the table. He has the most character about him. That's just me, but I'm going to give him B tier. Nico Bellic, S tier, baby. Nico, I think, just in front of Tommy Vercetti for my favorite protagonist, and I'll tell you why. I think just his backstory alone could earn a spin-off GTA game. He has that much depth to his character, and just hearing about how his childhood really scarred him, and going through the war and losing all of his friends and being motivated by revenge is such an interesting concept for an immigrant coming to the United States to base the game around. And with Roman being completely clueless about this, and with it being revealed after killing Vlad in that one mission, I just think it was a really cool twist, and it brings a lot to the character. It makes you feel for Nico, it makes you want to see Nico succeed. But when it comes to the big moment when he actually confronts the guy who killed his friends, depending on what choice you make, I think that really makes Nico. It really makes you be able to define him, whether he's a guy who can let go of his past or a guy who realizes, maybe revenge isn't what it's all cut out to be. And I love those themes. I love how deep the story is. But as Nico, as a character, he's S tier without a doubt. Tommy Vercetti, S tier. I just love the whole vibe Vice City gives off. I love the whole, callbacks to Scarface, really mob boss kind of storyline with, everything going on and him being able to rise up in the ranks and basically take over the city bit by bit with the help of Lance Van's dance. I just really like Tommy, man. He's got some funny lines, he's a really likable character, and I just have to give him S tier. Tony Cipriani. Now, I don't remember much about Liberty City Stories. I do remember that it was actually the first GTA game I ever played. I played it on my cousin's PSP, I remember, when I was younger. I thought he was okay. I mean, I know he's a part of the Italian mafia and has all that kind of stuff happening for him, and I didn't think he was a bad character, but to be honest, I don't remember enough to really judge it, so I'm gonna go middle of the road. I'm gonna play it safe for him. I'm gonna put him in C tier. I think that's fair. Trevor Phillips. I know a lot of you love Trevor Phillips. I know he's one of the most popular characters in the entire GTA franchise. But in terms of a protagonist, I'm going to put him in C tier. I'm going to tell you why. I think Trevor is C tier because although he's a very funny character, he has some very funny lines to him, and he does have a lot of fun missions to play, like the one where the bike goes on the top of the train. I love that shit. I thought that was crazy awesome. But to be honest, as a character and as a protagonist to a story, he doesn't really bring much. I mean, he does have like a sort of abusive relationship with his mother. I think that's kind of the only deep and dark thing, personal thing that I learned about Trevor. I don't really think that there's much you can bond with him over, genuinely bond with him over and root for him for. Maybe when he finds out that his best friend betrayed him, with Brad and everything like that, faking his death, and Michael framing, putting Brad in his place in the grave and stuff like that. That you could feel for him in that sense, I guess, that 10 years of being alone and finding out that his friend betrayed him for his own selfish reasons, I can get that, but he really just kind of acts as like the funny crazy man. He just kind of goes around doing crazy things, like a get out of jail free card for batshit crazy stuff that Rockstar likes to do, and cannibalistic tendencies, killing people for no reason, blowing shit up for basically no reason, overreacting and killing an entire fucking family over a missed drug opportunity with Mr. Chang. He's crazy, but I don't think he's better than anyone above him. I don't think he has much going for him in terms of a deep and meaningful story. So I think C tier is the right place for Trevor. And last but not least, Mr. Victor Vance. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Victor either. I did play Vice City Stories for a short period of time when I was younger too. But to be honest, I don't know much about his character arc and his story. All I know is that, unfortunately, he dies at the beginning of Vice City, rest in peace. I know his brother, Lance Vance, from the main storyline in Vice City. He's a military background and ends up losing his military privileges for doing some nasty shit. So I'm going to put him in C tier as well, just to play it safe. And that's about it. That's my GTA Protagonist tier list. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm a dumbass or if I'm right. See you in the next one. Bye.
There ain't nothing you could offer me.